I'm gonna do the sound check. Testing one, two, three.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. The players shut down on me.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this live stream, but we're gonna just have this. Here we go. Hi, good morning, everyone. Sorry about the delay. I just hit go live and then it just shut off.
ah, Fern. Yeah, I think your mic is off.
Oh no,
Yep, I got it on.
Okay.
It's on now.
Hi, Fern. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And
I
we have so much to talk about.
I love and hate technology.
I know.
I love technology. My problem is that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and I'm used to it.
Right.
So, before we start, why don't we go ahead and have Terry give us a morning breathing exercise, which I need right now desperately, and let's go from there. And then we're gonna start our podcast.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Wherever you are, sitting, standing, laying down, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Keeping your eyes closed. Relax your face. Relax your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. Visualize stress going down your arms, out through your fingertips. And now you're just gently breathing in and out through your nose. Relax your chest, your hips. Visualize stress going down your legs, out through your toes. And you're completely relaxed, gently breathing in and out. Any thoughts that come in your mind, visualize them just floating by like clouds. So you can just focus on breathing, gently breathing in and out through your nose while your eyes are closed. Take another deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And I'm going to close with little words of wisdom. Ask for guidance in seeing the truth concealed in your personal challenges. Bless your difficulties and ask to see their hidden guidance. Have the courage to accept what you discover and to initiate whatever action your healing requires. Namaste. May the divine in me honor the divine in you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Terry.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Terry. I needed that. I want to say hi to Brent. Hi, Brent. How are you? And also, we have Onboard 60 in the space also. Hi, and she's from South Florida, by the way. I wanted to. She's going to be our next. Not next, but I got put on the schedule. She's going to be our next guest. But
Awesome.
yeah, she's from South Florida with us, same area.
All right.
Let me pull up some. I want to go ahead and read a very short bio, but it's a pleasure meeting you, Fern. I'm like a big advocate for caregiving because I was a caregiver myself, and I actually start. We never, when we were growing up, we never thought that we'll be the one caring for our parents. But I'm being Asian. I was always told that as the oldest child, I would be the one taking care of my parents. So I was so happy to, have Terry talked about you, and I was like, oh, I need to have her come on because, this is a story that all of us will be caregiver, and I think the way they have it, like one, I think they say pretty soon, almost every single millennial and Zoomer will experience caregiving at one time in their life. And so Terry, okay, send me a little short bio. I want to go ahead and read that. It's already on our website. And Fern, I'm gonna mute your mic for a second because we have a little feedback. I'm gonna mute your mic for a second. Oh, there you go. You got it? No, just mute your mic. Okay.
Oh, you want me to mute my mic?
Yeah, because when there's all of us all speaking and the mic's open, it has a feedback. There we go. No, not here. I'm gonna mute your mic. Mute the mic. There you go.
Sounds better, Tanya.
Yeah. Okay. So, Fern, make sure to read a short bio. This is Fern Pessin. I hope I pronounced your last name right. But I'm so excited you're here. Since 2016, when Fern moved to Florida to provide support for her aging parents, she has used her skills as a writer, event planner, fundraiser, public relations, and promotion expert to learn what needed to be done and to act as an advocate for her parents. She became certified as a home health aide, attended conferences and classes, read and watched materials, interviewed experts, attended caregiver classes and weekly support groups, and more to ensure understanding on what to look for and do for her parents, both physically and emotionally. She collected a team of experts to guide her and her siblings through the financial, legal, and medical requirement of securing her parents' well being over the long term. I'll Be Right There, a guidebook for adults caring for their aging parents, was written to remove the overwhelm of the caregiving role and support families on the caregiving journey, to help people know what they didn't know they needed to know when they find themselves in the role of helping a parent. Fern is committed to visiting communities to help caregivers and their family members find support and recognition and joy. So everybody, welcome Fern Pessin. I appreciate you for being here. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Fern. How are you?
I'm unmuted again. I'm fine, thank you. Fine, thank you on this Memorial Day, thinking about my dad who just passed in October, who was a veteran. So I hope all of you are out there with your families having a good day.
So Fern, let's step back a little bit and talk a little bit your journey in providing this book. And by the way, and where can we get this book? Is it on
And
Amazon?
yeah, actually, I have a shortcut, Fern on Amazon.com. Fern on Amazon.com will take you right to my book. It's also on Barnes and Noble and Target and Walmart and all the other booksellers, Books a Million, etc.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. I would like to host a space. I'm actually going to invite. I don't know if you know Joanne Jenkins. She is the CEO of ARP AARP. I'd
Yes.
love to do a space with you and her because she wrote an incredible book too. Yeah, she and I follow each other. I had a show called Social Chats Eldercare. We
Uh
did it
huh.
for 2 years. I promoted everywhere. So we started following each other. She had written her new book, so that was a really interesting time. And I actually got so what happened is for myself personally, and then I'm gonna kind of ask you a little bit more because like I got into caregiving because I had to. We all had to, but my one girlfriend who was my co-host of my talk show, Social Chats Locals, where we feature South Florida events and anyone that's happening in South Florida. And we streamed for like 8 years together. And she became a caregiver, and that was overwhelming for her. I mean, literally, she became homeless, like from financial to physical to mental. So let's still talk a little bit about yourself and your journey because you had to go through a lot to get where you at to publish this book. And I think, if we had your book back then, I don't think my girlfriend would have gone through what she's gone through. But, she from everything that she gone through and tough times, she came out of it. She actually started writing, she wrote a book, I think, wrote a journal about it. So I think it's a beautiful thing. We're living in the 21st century where we can like take our pain and share it to the world and make something beautiful out of it. So Fern, tell us a little about yourself. And I would just write a little bit, but I'm going to give you the mic. And let's talk a little about yourself, what your family had to go through, and what's your ups and downs, and what's your most empowerment moment of your life when you were in this position with your parents.
Okay, sure. Well, I was working in Connecticut and New York and had my own company, and Dad got a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, And I started realizing that they were snowbirds, going back and forth to Florida. And so it became really not such a good idea for them to be driving back and forth to Florida. And I got stuck in a couple of snowstorms. I said, okay, enough of the snowstorms. I'm going to move to Florida. And that way, if my parents need me, if my mom needs support, I'll be there for them. And I didn't realize how soon after moving here, they would actually need me to help them. I started with the legal stuff, getting all the paperwork moved from New York to Florida. This was after selling their apartment in New York for them, and then moved all their stuff down here. We did the doctor visits, started. My dad had a bad accident in the car on the way down to Florida, and he decided, yeah, maybe he shouldn't be driving anymore. And then mom, I took some driving with her and I realized she shouldn't be driving anymore. So I became a driver and a doctor visitor, which made me kind of almost need to get some nursing skills of sorts. And one thing led to another. And eventually my work had to be adjusted to accommodate my parents' schedule. So I can relate to your friend who wound up homeless in that over the last 7 years of doing this, I've gone through everything that I had put aside. Um, and it's hard. It's hard because you love your parents and you want to do great things for them. But I started going to support groups and found that there were people who were taking care of their parents and they did not love their parents. They had a horrible upbringing with their parents and still were doing the caregiving role. And I think it's important for all of us to find a place where we can talk about that, where we can share what's going on, where we're not stigmatized for how we're really feeling. What we feel is what we feel, and there are days when we're going to say to ourselves, "Oh, I wish this was all over already." And then we beat ourselves up with guilt about feeling that we don't want to do it anymore because we're good people and we're supposed to do this. And then we have a friend of mine had a sibling who just disappeared, just completely disappeared, didn't want to know where his dad and mom were. And that's frustrating because it leaves one person to have to handle all of this. So my journey has been a relatively positive and good one. Not everyone has that. And I just want to shout out respect for everybody going through this because it's really tough. It changes who you thought you'd be at whatever point in your life you start doing it. Whatever, and people are caregiving not just for their parents, but honoring all the people who also care for children who have disabilities or care for spouses who have illnesses and so on. And it just speaks to me so much after what I've gone through. And what I found was there were a lot of resources out there for what to do about the medical stuff, and a lot of resources, plenty of people trying to tell you what to do with your money, and plenty of people trying to tell you what legal documents need to be filled out. But there was very little about the things that come up every day that drive you crazy. And knowing to put an emergency bag packed, like when people get pregnant and they're about to have a baby, you pack a bag that's ready to go to the hospital. So figuring out that if you have that bag packed, that's one less thing you have to worry about. Or if you talk to your family about where the paperwork is, where are the insurance forms, what property do you own, what bank account, where are your bank accounts, those kinds of things, so you can take on managing a household so your parents don't lose their house or lose their car or something. You have to do that while everybody's still um, able to respond. And COVID showed us, in 2 seconds, you can wind up being unable to communicate because you get intubated. So we need to know these things kind of before they actually happen. Does that make sense?
Oh yes, it makes a lot of sense. For myself, well, my mother-in-law had a long-term insurance and she forgot to pay it. She paid
Oh
on
my God.
all her life, and we didn't know this. I didn't know this until I went through. I like she finally was comfortable enough, and so no, it's yeah. She we lost that, and they didn't. And she only missed one payment now, and they took it away from her, and it was really it was. I think it was really hard for her because she paid all her like she was a school teacher, and here she is, and she's 78 years old. She had cancer, so forgetting to do that, that was really bad because she didn't tell us. And God knows what else we lost because we don't know. She passed away very, she it was a long term, but she didn't tell us anything. She wouldn't tell us anything. Like,
Right. So there are two stories I hear all the time. There's the parents who call me or talk to me, and they say my kids don't want to know anything. They keep saying no, no, you're fine. We don't have to talk about this. If you talk about death, you'll make it happen. We don't want that. And the parents are trying so desperately to give their kids the resources, and the kids don't want to listen. So that's one side of it. And the other side is the kids who are kids, they're 40, 50, whatever, 60 years old, are the kids, and they're like trying to get the information out of the parents, and their parents don't want to give up the information. They're like, get your nose out of my business. It's none of your business. And I had a friend who told me, in confidence that she says, I don't want my kids to know how broke I am. I'm embarrassed about how I've managed things, and starting my own business, there's not a lot left. I don't want them to be scared that I can't take care of myself and things like that. So there's both sides of it. And I think it's the most important thing I learned, and I talk about a lot about this in my book, is about communication and the way we talk to each other and the way we approach these things. And for my friend who didn't want her family to know, I said, well, they still need to know where all your documents are in case something happens to you. So what if you took everything that you have and you gave it to a lawyer, or you gave it to a trusted friend or something like that, and you just tell your kids, look, if anything happens to me, everything you need to know is in this document, and it's XYZ. It's in this safe deposit box, or it's with this friend, or it's with the lawyer, or it's in the safe in the house, whatever. And you let them know. So they don't know anything before they need it, but they know where to get it when they need it. How do you think about that?
That would be awesome, but as people get older, this whole secret thing, either they're afraid of this or that. In my case, it wasn't financial. It was just didn't want people to know her business. It wasn't financial at all, actually. But the thing is, we did lose a lot because she didn't tell us. She didn't tell about all the different safety deposit box. I mean, it's interesting how as people age, like right now, I have my own mom is going through that. She's fighting, kicking because she don't want to be caregiver. She wants to go back to Vietnam and have somebody pay somebody to take care of her. And yes, this whole like not wanting to be, she wants to be strong, and she is. My mom's a badass. She escaped Vietnam War, so I mean, if she can come over here last day of the Vietnam War and take care of 4 young kids by herself, a single mom in 1975, I think she can do anything. But here we are in 2022, and she has just lost her husband, and it's just like a different ball game where we see them at.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I think that um, the there's technology out there to have the information available, or to keep it in a secure place so people can access it, so they can get a password to access all of it when it's needed. But nobody wants to find themselves in the hospital and then come home and find out that their plants have died, or God forbid a pet has died, or the house has been lost because no payments have been made. And you don't think in the morning, when you wake up, oh, I think I'm going to have a stroke today. So maybe I should let my family know where everything is. I had a friend whose father passed away, and he went to the funeral home, and the guy, saw a grieving son and said, "Don't you want to do the best for your dad?" And $13,000 funeral later. He'll be paying that off of 5 years. It was not something he could easily afford. And then when he was cleaning out his dad's house, he found all the documents for a prepaid cremation. So never mind the money, his father wanted to be cremated and he buried him. So it's like, what does that do to your psyche to know you didn't do what your parent wanted? And I feel like the openness of just letting people know what's going on is so important, that's what I put in my book, is a place to put all that information and in one spot, so that you can then give that book to somebody to hold securely, or tell your family the book is on this bookshelf in this room. If anything happens, go there, and everything would be in there. So people don't have to search and scramble, which desk drawer had all the important papers, how many different file cabinets. My mother's a hoarder, there's stuff everywhere. So like, which cabinet did I go to find all the information? And you're in the middle of it, so you're overwhelmed, and you don't want to have to scramble for where to find an insurance policy or long-term care policy, or your preferences for which hospital, or which one's in your insurance policy and covered, or which one your doctor's at, or so on and so forth. So it's really about, when you have the time and you're calm and you can do it slowly, get that stuff together and share it with your family. And the second book is for all my mother's friends. They're all like, well, we want to tell them, but they won't listen. That book is called "I'm Not Going to Live Forever," so that they can share it.
I think for us personally, also, my father-in-law, he went into the hospital for something simple and he never came out. I think that was the other trauma. I mean, my hubby had like one after another, and that was trauma for him because this is his parents. Like he never really, like, we were a family. I mean, I was part of the family for 20 years, so it's kind of, for me, it was a really hard time for us because then he went in, he never came out. I mean, he was in a hospital for a month and he never came out, and we didn't know how to take care of him, and we didn't even know about his funeral needs. We don't even know. We haven't found anything yet. So, but we went ahead and paid for it. And then my mother-in-law got sick. So, there's so many different stories. So that and again, a book like yours is so important because it's education. Education powers people, and also engagement. It would be nice for a parent, someone you're caring for, to read your book, and also for the caregiver to read your book. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, absolutely. My if I would say, what did I do right so far, it's engaging my siblings, because I think I think the important thing is to keep, like I said, communication. So every every week, or and sometimes every day, depending on what's going on with the health of my parents, I would send my siblings. Now, granted, I'm a writer. Not everyone would do this, but I sent them an email with what was going on with our parents, because my thought was, what if something happens to me? And so having the updates on what's going on medically, what's going on legally, financially, emotionally, what's going on in the apartment, what's going on with the car, all of that kind of stuff. I just sent it to my siblings. I said, you can do with this what you want, but you have it all. And if anything happens to me, you won't wonder, well, what was the last thing that the doctor said, or what was the latest on blah blah blah. So I think that not everyone gets along with their siblings, but in this case, when you're caring for parents together, that communication is really important, and assigning, like, who's doing what, so you're not all doing the same thing and nobody resents it. Everybody has some part in it. So right now, what's going on with me is my dad passed away October, and I unfortunately got diagnosed with cancer 2 weeks later. And I am going through a lot of stuff right now. for myself, and now realize, oh my God, I've been caregiving and now I might actually need to be cared for. And that's terrifying as a caregiver because you're so used to being the one who's fixing everyone else. So as I'm going through this, I'm realizing, what if my mother's atrial fib kicks in? Or what if dementia becomes a problem? Or what if she, God forbid, falls and hurts her hip? If I'm going through treatment, who's going to take care of her? So my siblings and I got on a phone conference call on Zoom, and we had a conversation, and we agreed that they both live in New York. They both have spouses and families. As many families, I'm the single daughter, so I'm the one who did the work with my parents up until now. I've done 7 years, and now we're in the process of moving mom to New York so that I can take care of myself. And that's a whole other journey of, when you're a caregiver and you have to become someone who's cared for. And I feel grateful that my sister and brother are there for me and are 100% on board with this and are actually happy that they get a chance to participate in caregiving for our parents. And I hope that everyone out there that's listening has that same experience, that has that kind of relationship with their family. But I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, you do. I'm just saying that I find it interesting time where we don't know at any moment we could be the caregiver or we can be the one being cared for. And we never, and pretty much you're saying that plan it out, communicate properly, communicate kindly to each other, especially with the siblings, because you hear stories about siblings fighting over the care of the parents, or and there's a lot of internal family, quad, back and forth arguing over certain things, how to care for the loved one. And I'm very impressed that you and your sibling are able to work that out.
Oh my God. I talk to lawyers who are in elder care all the time, and they tell me the biggest problem they have is, they charge by the hour. And these families come in and they spend the whole time arguing. The kids are arguing, even in front of their parents, over what should be done with their parents. And if I if I as a parent can sit down with my kids and say, this is what I would like. This is how I want to be treated. This is who I want at my funeral. This is what I want you to say. This is how I want to be in the hospital. This is how I want to have a DNR or a do not intubate or something like go through those things. There's actually I don't know if you guys have heard of this. There's a document called the Five Wishes, and you can get it on the fivewishes.org, and it goes through all of these questions. And I sat down with my parents at the beginning of our journey here together, and I found out that they didn't know what each other wanted. One said, I want to die at home. The other said, I want to die in the hospital. And they looked at each other and said, you're crazy. You're wrong. It's like, so you need to uh, share those things while you're able so that you're not stressing out. Did I do it the right way? And you know exactly what someone wants. You know what makes them comfortable. You know whether they want visitors. If they want their hair brushed before anyone walks in the room, or whether they like a pet to come and see them, whether they want to be alone when they die, or whether they want people around them, whether they like a certain kind of music. These sound like, ugh, why do I have to bother with all of that? But it makes everybody relax, because if you know what people want, then you feel comfortable in that. And that's the same thing with the siblings. If people are fighting among each other about who does what and what the parents would want, I know mom would want this, no, I know mom would want this, and then you're fighting about it doesn't work for harmony, it doesn't work for energy, it doesn't work for peace. And the other thing is, I was told by the lawyer, when I was explaining, I was asking questions about if, when I sell mom's apartment and there's this much money, at the end of that much money, she'll have to go on Medicaid. How do we arrange that? And he said, Fern, it's so nice to hear somebody who wants their parent to have all their money until the end, to use it till the end. He said, I get so many people in here who just want to stuff their parents somewhere so that they can keep their inheritance. They want to spend the least amount of money on their parents so that there's more money for them at the end. And that's a family dynamic that's really hard to get through. Have you heard that? Have you seen that?
I think is that a common trait, isn't it? This is what America's known for. I mean, that's what I mean. If you really think about it, that's why they're creating a whole. I think the biggest business in America, I feel like, is these homes. You know that they are building. I don't know. Have you studied the statistics as how many homes these types of adult assisted living facility is that they call it?
Yeah, I think at some point soon there'll almost be enough beds in these homes for the entire, like, 65 plus population. They're building and building and building because people aren't keeping their families at home, and that is a very, you spot on. It's a very American thing. When I talk to people from different cultures, the Hispanic culture, the African American culture, the Haitian culture, the uh, actually a lot of the Asian cultures, Indians, people like that, they don't put their family somewhere. It's all about keeping family together and taking care of your own. And some people do it for financial reasons. It's easier. You come live in my house and I can take care of you and it's less expense. But other people do it because that's just the way their culture is and their family is, and you honor and respect the elders in your home, in your neighborhood, in your community, in your house of worship. And it's a different mentality. So yes, it is a very American thing to sort of stick people somewhere. But there is a point, when someone is beyond home care, where the people who are caregivers at home, it's making them more sick. And the statistic is that 65% of caregivers pass away before the people they're caring for from the stress and anxiety and getting sick, from being a caregiver. So we have to honor that too. And each family, each situation is different. And I encouraged my parents back in 2018 to move into an independent living senior community that had memory care, that had assisted living, so that they could age in place in their community and have familiarity with the staff, have people that care about them, taking care of, watching out for them. So it wasn't all on me as a burden or my siblings, but also because my mother is so social and my dad he didn't want anyone to bother him, that it gave my mom a chance to be out, but in the building, and to stay near him. And she thanked me when he passed away. She thanked me because there was such a huge network of support for her because people knew them as a couple. And we actually had his celebration of life in that community, in their common hall, and there were over 50 people even during COVID that came down to be there for my mom and to support her children and her. And that meant so much to me.
Yeah, you're very blessed because I feel like a lot of people don't have. That's a wonderful story. That's a wonderful experience that you had. But like my mother-in-law, she had a place in Century Village, but she just bought that place because it was her mom that she had a place there before, so she kept it because of her mom, but she never really stayed there. And then when she passed away, she gave it to her brother, thinking he's going to use that as a summer home, but he sold it right away because he did not want to come down here. But she didn't want to be around anyone in her community. You're blessed that your mom and dad found a community. That's the most important part. I feel anyone going through care themselves, they gotta have find a community besides their family. They gotta have friends and other people they can talk to besides their loved one.
Well, the thing is, I maybe I made it sound easy. this was not easy.
I was like,
This is
wow, you're very blessed.
yeah, I was very blessed, but it took over 8 months to get my parents to kind of understand. Now, first I started by going to conferences and events and listening to other speakers, which not everyone has time for, but I wanted to find out what was going on and how to do the best stuff. So we started. My dad did not want an aide. He didn't want anyone looking after him. So we hired a handyman that came, and the handyman was doing stuff around the house, but he was also a certified healthcare worker that I met when I went through my home health aid course. And my dad was great having another guy around, and they could talk while the guy was painting and doing stuff around the house. And that's how we got an aide in for my dad, because he was not needing anyone to take care of him. He was Mr. Macho. So then when I started talking about a community, it took many, many different ways of doing it. And I got a lot of crap from my mother, like, what are you trying to run my life? You're not my mother, those kinds of things. You're trying to kick me out of my house and all of that. But my dad said, if you can find a place that has a terrace, that has a view, that is relatively new, so everyone's trying to meet each other there, that is aesthetically pleasing, that we can afford, maybe I'll look at it. And so I did. And I showed him two places that were really crappy. Then I showed him this one place, and he said, "Oh my God, you found everything I wanted. I can't believe it." He goes, "Okay, we'll move." And he did it for my mom, because my mom is, like I said, a social person, and she needed to have people around. She needed to have a place to go and things to do. And if she wasn't going to be driving, it would be better to be in one place. And my dad told me later, it was great because she left him alone and he was able to do his own thing, and she could come up and they would have lunch together and dinner together and they would meet other people. And it worked out very nice. But you have to know, this is again going back to, I had to ask my parents what was important to them. I had to know them, to know the things that would make them comfortable in a new place. And when my dad was starting to forget who everybody was, he was surrounded by people that he knew, instead of different strangers coming in to take care of him and bathe him and wash him and whatever, every day. And that was important to us. And we wound up having healthcare workers to the apartment because he was so comfortable there, and moving him elsewhere would have made his mental decline accelerate. And we all know that. So hospital stays and moving make people's minds that are already in the degenerative path, it accelerates, and they become anxious, and they're more likely to get sick from that. So I am lucky, and my mother is willing to move to New York, because she keeps telling me, "But you did such a good job." But she said she understands that this is my worry about her well-being, and that if she wants me to be well, then it helps me if I know that she's well taken care of. So now she's moving into assisted living while she's like, "Why don't we wait until I can't do things anymore, or whether I'm sick?" And I said, "Do you want to wake up one day and not know who's surrounding you?" And she was like, "No." "Do you want to not know where you are? Do you want to not know the schedule?" And she said, "No." I said, "So go enjoy while you can. And that way, when you're ready for it, you'll know where you are and you'll be comfortable." So she said yes.
Yeah, they say that if that's caring for someone, if you don't take care of yourself, you in turn will get sick.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. I'm watching people have chronic illnesses who have I this is terrible, but I was just on a suicide watch yesterday with a friend whose husband is going through cancer, and he called me and said, "You got to go over there. I think she's falling apart." And because he's in the hospital. And we we as a society need to step it up and take care of caregivers. We need to acknowledge that this is a tough thing, and it does impact your day. It does impact your family. It does impact your neighborhood. It does impact your work. And when you're working and trying to take care of family, it's nice if you could have support in your workplace, because you have to spend an hour on the phone taking care of the cable bills because your mother forgot to pay it, or you have to take a parent to a doctor, or you have to go pick something up, or get your parent transferred to rehab from the hospital. It's like you need some kind of compassion in the workplace to understand that if you don't get these things done, you're not going to be focused on getting productivity up. So I have all kinds of ideas about what we can do in the workplace to support each other. And maybe in other countries it's different, but in America, it really, everybody's in their own, it feels like their own little isolated silos. And unless you make friends and have this network of people that can help support you, that will step up and come in and take a few things off your hands, it can get really, really overwhelming. And it is all possible, and it is all doable if you can wrap your head around everything that is involved, which is why I wound up writing the book. I was at Hippocrates Health Institute, trying to do a recovery thing. And people kept saying to me, "Well, how did you find out all this stuff? How did you learn all this stuff?" And I explained, and they go, "I don't have time for that. I don't have time to go to classes. I don't have time to become a health aide. I don't have time to take all these books and read all of them. I have work. I have kids. I have my parents to take care of. There's no way I can do it." So I wrote it in a book. They wanted a list. I made a list, a lot of pages, but I made a list. And I'm hoping that people told me when they read the book, they tell me that it's like that book, um, when you get pregnant and everybody gives you that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. They said this book is kind of like that for taking care of your parents. It's like what to expect, and then to get all ready for it so that it's not so overwhelming. And that's the response I get from people is, "Oh my God, now that this is like my Bible. I just read through what I need and I can take care of it." And honestly, that is the biggest gift to me. And I feel like God put me in this situation as a caregiver so that I could help others.
Thank you, Fern. That's so beautiful. And I'm on your Amazon, so I shared it out. And let me go ahead and pin it to the next if anybody wanted to take a look at that. Um, I
Thank you.
remember last year, didn't wasn't Biden supposed to be passing some long-term care bill? I'm looking at that. I mean,
Yeah,
over
unfortunately, our current, I don't know what you call them, our government peoples, the politicians are not as good about this stuff as they need to be. And until you're in it, you don't realize. And I have to say that media, in terms of movies on Netflix, movies on TV shows are stepping up their game now. And I think that AARP and bunch caregiving.com and a bunch of other associations have been, Alzheimer's Association, have really been stepping up their goal of getting images of caregivers and what they're doing out there in the world and how important it is. We are going to have a nation of caregivers that is as big as anyone has ever seen ever. We are aging and aging and aging, and because of all of the technology and the medical we have, and people have to be ready to take care of that. For me, if it was up to me, I would put caregiving into the school system. I would make it a high school class of how to take care of an aging adult, or how to take care of a sibling if you have a problem at home. And these are things I would love to see. I'm in the middle. If anybody out there wants to be part of this, please let me know. If you could post my stuff, I am working on a caregiver recovery program, because the thing I'm seeing right now is that people put 10, 15 years into caregiving for someone, and then that person passes away, their last parent passes away, and they're out there and they're like, "Well, what the hell do I do now?" Um, I've I've lost most of my friends because I'm so busy taking care of others. I don't have the income I had before. I don't know what I want to do. And I think that that is a next problem. You know, caregiving is an issue, but this idea of who we are as individuals once we stop caregiving, what about that, right? So I'm putting together, as I'm going through my journey, and I need to hear other people's stories, I'm putting together what I call a caregiver recovery program to get people back to be their best self. Oh my God, I sound like Oprah. I'm sorry.
Oh, I love it. Keep going. I just shared the book on the nest for people that I want to see it. But it'll be part of our recording. But
Thank you.
yeah, no, I'd love to know more. We'll have to do another space and we can collaborate. I have someone you can meet. So her name is Maria de Los Angeles. She goes to Vice Queen Maria on Twitter, but she does caregiving for other people now too. So but she's an author, she's a writer, and I met her because she was my co-host on our show. So she was the one that believed in my social chat stream of live streaming in 2010. So she would we'd be in a radio station and we'd streaming out to Facebook. So, and we became really close friends. And just to watch her go from this vibrant, and we're the same age, so go from vibrant, all of a sudden just so tired time. So, and Terry's caregiving too. I think we're all caregivers in here. Is anyone in the space? You guys want to raise your hand if you're a caregiver? Hi Asia. Yes, Asia's a caregiver. Asia, if you want to grab the mic, you're welcome to. Terry's a caregiver. And
Well, Terry actually is helping me with this caregiver recovery program. She's so good at like this getting us calm. So,
Tanya, and Fern, I just want to mention one thing. I don't want to take away from anybody's time, but how I met Fern. She
right.
called Balance for Life and wanted her and her mom to do a retreat. And whenever I speak with someone who wants to come to the retreat, we get friendly, you know. And we kind of we hit it off. And she contacted me to let me know, you know what, it's not going to work. My mom is not going to eat that food or, whatever. But I would like for you and I to chat about something else. And that's how her and I got together. And we met, how many times? At least 3, right?
Oh
Fern?
yeah. Yeah. And plus the phone calls. Yeah.
And phone calls. And I am on fire with this when we're doing what we're doing right now. And then we forget. We forget. And I understand that. And I don't mean Fern and I forget or anything like that. It's just that we get to our day-to-day business. This is important. And I'm so glad that Fern, that you're here and that Tanya can hear you, because Tanya has been saying to me prior to meeting you, at least a couple of years prior to meeting you, Terry, you're a caregiver. You need to get the word out of what you do and how you do it and blah 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 blah. So sort of like with you, Fern. So it's like I'm ready. I'm ready. And I just had to get that out. I'm done. Okay, guys, go ahead.
You're awesome. Yeah. It's a journey we're all on. So why not be there together? Why not create this community? Why not support each other? And if I can sit with your mom and my mom together while you go have some time on your own,
Oh,
and and if I can pick up something in the grocery store and drop it off for
yeah,
you on my
yeah,
way, like we can do this for each other.
yeah,
And we have to accept that we are okay to ask for help. And that's what that's a big message out there.
yeah,
It's okay to ask for help, because if you don't take care of yourself, there's going to be your own issues later.
yeah, yeah. And I will mention another thing regarding. Now, this is regarding Tanya. When COVID happened, Tanya's like, Terry, what's going on? How are you? This is before even the immunizations were out. I said, Tanya, I don't know what the hell's going on. I just don't want to bring it home to mom. So she explained to me about the Tanya. What is it again? My brain is fried. I'm on my way home. That you could have it without knowing it and spread it. What's that called? There's a word for it. I forget. Anyway, are y'all there? No.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Fern is here.
What is it called when you carry the virus and you don't have the symptoms?
Asymptomatic.
Asymptomatic. She says, and I said, oh my God, I didn't even realize that, because I'm in a panic for mom. I don't care about me. And so she figured, she said, I know this,
Strangest thing ever with I don't even know what happened. Hey Sandra, I just gave you the mic. I don't even know. We're so good.
Wow.
I was so good. I can't believe we just lost everything.
I don't know what just happened. I was like, going, wait a minute, what did I do? What did I touch? You know, because I'm like so computer literate here. I'm on my phone. This is so intriguing to me. It's so fabulous for me because, in all honesty, I'm 61. My sister's 63. My mother's homebound, recovering from COVID, oxygen dependent, and they are both so. Do you know what folie à deux is?
No, what's that?
That's when two people get together and they both are very dysfunctional and they feed off of each other's dysfunctions. And that's what happened with my mom and my sister. They won't allow other people in unless it's the way they want them to come in. And and they rejected me. And it's just coming to this space. I'm like, wow, I got an organization. I want to learn. And yeah, I am trying to onboard seniors, but this is amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad you were. I'm glad you joined. I'm so sorry about not getting back to you. I've been like, kind of out of it. Let me invite my friend Amy up here too.
Please.
Yeah, caregiving is something like, yeah, caregiving is such a thing to my heart. I mean, like, I think because I just, I always knew I was gonna be a caregiver, but that the way I came about, and then it was, and then I always know I tell my mom I'm gonna be her caregiver because and she gets all crazy when I tell her that. So, because she doesn't think, so it's really interesting. Hi, Amy. Are you a caregiver too?
I was up until very recently, and so I was really just enjoying the discussion. The person I was caring for, and for my own health, I can only have telephone conversations with them. I see them once in a blue moon, and that's for a number of multiple reasons. It's really for both my safety as well as their own in terms of mental health, right? Because they trigger me, and I am prone to going back into a mode of forgetting myself again and being completely sucked into. It's my father. He's going to be 80 in July this year, and I'm 33, so I spent my entire childhood looking after him because he was diagnosed with PTSD and paranoid schizophrenia, and he many years ago when I was a kid. So there was the caregiving of my other siblings when he wasn't around, and helping my mum, who didn't speak English, just with the day to day of running a household with 7 kids. I'm not the oldest, but I had 3 younger siblings that I was always looking after, and it's like a domino effect, right? When one elder in the household suddenly isn't able to look after the children anymore, it's very natural for everyone else to pick up the slack, right? Just to get through like the day to day. I hope this isn't going too much off topic, but I just wanted to share that I love this conversation, and and I totally agree with what you were saying about there needs to be some kind of system in place that supports people who are in full-time work and are still caregivers. So if there was a system for people who are working, and to whether it's financial or just volunteering time, because as someone mentioned earlier, it's time away from yourself, and the more we neglect ourselves, the more we find ourselves in health situations, whether it's mental health or physical health, that we just like ignored the symptoms, or were so focused on caring, because you guys sound like people who have really big hearts, right? Like sometimes and it's okay to say I need to look after myself. It's okay to say like I need a break. Like and I've just used the example of when I was an undergrad and when I was doing my master's degree, my grades suffered a lot in school. But when I was doing my university degree, I made a point that when I'm studying, no one please like my like that 1 hour slot or that 2 hour slot in my evenings or though that one day on the weekend, at least one day on the weekend, I need someone else to take on things like the grocery shopping, the phone calls that need to be made, the bills that have to be paid, the letters that need to be read and understood and actioned, because I can't do it all on my own. There's 7 of us. Someone has to, and just because I'm a student, I don't know my older siblings are in full-time work. That doesn't mean what they're doing. Studying a degree is work too, right? So, and also, unfortunately, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, trigger warning, she committed the S word immediately after giving birth to their son, and that changed everything. My brother, who was living in another city, they were living as a family together in another city, far away from London, and they had to figure out a way. He had to figure out a way of raising his newborn son while in um, like a managerial position at work. So obviously, we said we will take on the child, and for the first maybe 3-4 years of his life, he lived with us. And immediately after that took place, I had to take out a year and a half from my degree. I had to delay my degree, and it took me almost 4.5 years because I had to mitigating circumstances application. I had to show them the death certificate just so that I could get a year to defer and come back because it was just impossible. And and I didn't mind doing it, but had there been something that the university could have done or that my brother's workplace could have done, or just to just as they're aware of what's going on, just to ease the burden for my brother, he to help him because I think to this day he still suffers a lot from that, and we were all in shock from what happened. And I only mentioned that because someone mentioned the S word earlier. I don't want to trigger anyone, but I'm going to stop speaking now because I've been talking for too long. But yeah, lovely topic.
Well, I well, Fern is here, and
I'm back.
Hey, sorry about that. I don't even know what was going. It was so perfect. I can hear everyone in the other room, but I couldn't hear myself. So usually I can just leave the app and come right back, but then it wouldn't even like load up for me. It was really strange. I'm gonna report this to Twitter as far as the app's concerned. So sorry about that, Fern. We were just talking about something really, really important, and Amy was saying that there has to be some different program. And while Amy was talking about this, I looked up something, and because of technology, everything's Uber, like on demand. Like, so apparently there's Uber for elder care. But they're only in Sacramento. The app is only good in Sacramento. I don't even know. It's called Alice Care.
No. There's a national program that you can use. I can't remember the name. I'll look it up and I'll post it for you. And it's an app that you call the app. It's like Grandma on the Go or something. I can't remember what it is called. And then they contact Uber, but they stay on the phone with the person who needs to go where they need to go the entire time. So you have somebody supervising the whole route, and then make sure that they get back home again afterwards. It's a really great service for people
really
who
important to know
who
for people. Yeah, no, that's really important, by the way. No, I was just talking about this is home care on demand.
yeah
It's
yeah
an app you can download, and then you look at what all the different tasks that you need to that whatever task you need to get done. Then the CNN or the nurse or whoever picks up that task will do it, but you'll be charged for it. And then there's no agency contract, no assessment, no minimum pay per task.
Interesting.
Um,
But Amy, I'm wondering, do you have a support group that you go to?
I'm currently in therapy. I have something called a community care team. They visit me sometimes 3 times a week, but because they're understaffed at the moment, it's usually just one, maximum two, but at best there'll be a visit. Um, but yeah, like a support group, I guess. I
Okay.
mean, I have friends and people like that. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so the thing that helped me the most was being able to talk to other caregivers so that they got it and they understood. And you can find these often in houses of worship. You can find them in community organizations that work with seniors for adult daycare, or people who have memory, where there's memory centers, or places that are like a YMCA, those kind of places. I don't know if you have Y over there, but these kind of places have free support groups. And because of COVID, they're often meeting on Zoom or whatever. So you can do it from your own space. And it is such a huge relief. And you have a lot, I can tell, that has been going on in your life. And it would be helpful, I think, to you for your just calm, peace way of being in the world, to have that love coming to you from other people going through the same thing. So if you can try to reach out in your community to see if there's anything that you can access, I would recommend that, because it will, even whether you're still caregiving or not, it will help. And just when you want to, excuse my language, but when we want to bitch and moan about the job and what it takes, then it's good to have people who go, oh yeah, I had that too. I had that too. I mean, when I went to see my parents on a Zoom call, and my mother said, okay, you take care of your father. I'm going to go take a nap now. I was like, Mom, I'm on the computer. I'm not in the house. I can't take care of Dad. He could fall off the chair. I can't feed him. You have to come back. And she's like, but I'm so tired. Stuff like that. You need people that you can say, isn't this ridiculous, to, and have them say, yes, you're right. My God, your mother, she's a horror. And you can go, I know. And then 10 minutes later, you can say, but I love her.
yeah, so
you know,
actually Sandra, who is on the space with us, she's a caregiver too. And Sandra's she's down here. She's from down here, so we can meet up with her. But Sandra, tell us a little bit more what you're going through, because you were just telling me a little bit, and I wanted Fern to hear about this.
Yeah, my mom's 87 years old, and I live in South Florida. I'm in Boca. She's in Delray. My sister lives with her, and they've been together for a very long time, and they're very dysfunctional when it comes down to the care of her and how things are. And when I interject anything, they reject it. And the feeling of not being a part of the family is really affecting me when it comes to trying to be there for them and help. Oh, I'm sorry. My background, I was adolescent family counselor with a master's in nonprofit. So that doesn't help when it comes to them, because they think that I'm trying to do things that's crazy for them. There is a caregiver now. She is oxygen dependent. At the same time, my sister really needs somebody to talk to. My sister needs somebody to be there for her. And I think that would help immensely to get somebody else like me or my niece, her granddaughter, to be there for them. Because now my granddaughter doesn't even want to go over there because of how they treat people. And I really appreciate this space because I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I have a project to onboard senior citizens, and I am learning a lot myself on my journey of my deficiencies and my accomplishments. And I want other senior citizens to be a part of this world. And being in South Florida, I think I have an opportunity to help so many seniors. At the same time, I really want to help my family, my sister, now that I hear this, because my sister really does need somebody to be there for her. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know I'm in Boca also, so we can totally get together. But
We can go have lunch at Balance for Life.
the
I know the people there.
yeah, the Green Memory Center is where my caregiver support groups are. So if you want to just go to that site for the Green Memory Center, you can. It's all on Zoom now, and you and your sister can both join. There's a Wednesday group for general caregivers, and there's a Monday group at 11 a.m. for caregivers taking care of parents. So that's the group that I belong to. But it has kept me sane. And I recommend that if you don't have a formal caregiver group, then find, it's not a book club, it's not a wine club, it's a support group, and find a group of friends that you meet with on a regular basis, once a week, to just talk about what's going on and get it off your chest. Because you keep this inside, it will make you sick. And we as caregivers can't die before our time. We have to thrive, and we have to come out on the other end of this, and we have to be fabulous, because what we give to the world is amazing. So anybody out there doing this, you rock, and just know it. Know that you are an amazing person.
Well, the thing is like I'm not the caregiver. My sister is, and
But
she
you
did not-
are.
Well,
But you
well,
are.
I am, but at the same time, she would never. She's like, when it comes down to counseling or doing something to help herself, she's just like against it. But I will definitely attempt to. I mean, I want to go for myself and hopefully get her there. But right now, it's like they're rejecting anything and everything that I suggest.
And that, as a caregiver who is trying to, there's primary caregivers and secondary caregivers, and the secondary caregivers often feel pushed out and misunderstood, and this is a huge problem, because we're all responsible in the family, and we need to embrace this together. And it's so hurtful to be told that you don't know what you're talking about. I only know what's best because I'm here, or I'm living with her, or I'm the one who sees her all the time, or I'm the one managing the money and you're saying crazy things. I mean, that is so hurtful. And I love to encourage people to have the healthy conversations. And this is a great platform, but it's not therapy. So, and I'm not a therapist. I'm just a caregiver who has learned a lot. And I wish that I could help you have those kinds of conversations. And I do have some of that in my book, but I'm also open to just having a conversation with you. Anyone out there, info@illberightthere.com is my email. So if you want to reach out, I'm happy to answer specific questions. I'm happy to help. I hope that's helpful to you guys.
Thank you, Fern, for being here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this space. Thank you, Sandra, for being here. And thank you, Amy, for joining us and sharing your story too. And again, everyone, have a great day. We will be back next Monday at 10 a.m. And again, for another episode 22 of Empower Yourself. Yeah, sorry about the tech issue. I think that app just updated, so I'm gonna go update my app now. But again, everyone, thank you, and I'm gonna edit this to include both of this, and we probably restream this out together as one video, because I just, it was such a great conversation. And again, Fern, before I let you go, can you tell our listener how to get a hold of you again, one more time?
Yeah, sure. It's by phone is 561-757-8237, and email is info@illberightthere.com. And I look forward to having conversations with anyone that wants to talk about this. It's all great. I'm here for you. All right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, Sandra. I'm gonna talk to you offline, and Amy, I'll see you later in another space. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. I appreciate you. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Have a wonderful time. Bye bye.
Thanks for having me on. Bye bye.